Mark Magnuson for the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm here today with Bryan Perry. We are at BASF at the Farm Progress Show 2024. And Bryan, could you tell me, please, your role within BASF?
Yeah, Mark, I have the privilege of heading up our U.S. seeds and traits business at BASF.
And I know for BASF this year, you guys have worked very hard with your trials. You've had a lot of trials running this year. Could you tell us kind of the scope of the operation, please?
Yeah, I know that from a total perspective on trials, and this is where Brady Spangenberg talked a little bit, over 2,000 plus trials just on the soybean side alone. In fact, actually, we've got 5,000 trials we've done here on our soybean genetics. I would be off on the exact number on all the thousands of acres that we've done in the U.S., but really the takeaway is focusing on our breeding work, our research work, taking it all the way down to the farmers so that we know they perform in their backyard.
And that is a point that I've heard a lot from another person on your team, Bill Backus, who, talks about getting the right soybeans for a specific field for a farmer. And how important is that to BASF to get that dialed in so you can be the most efficient as possible?
Yeah, for us, it's not just about the products, it's how they get used. So we spend a lot of time going back to the research side to think about seed placement. Fun fact, if you look at the Farmers Independent Research of Seed Technologies trials, so this is a third-party group we believe in using so that's part of the 5,000 trials on soybeans. The difference between the top yielding soybean variety and the last place soybean variety is about 20 bushels. So if you're a grower, you've got the exact same investment tied up in the acre, but you lost 20 bushels because you made a bad decision. So we've spent a lot of time researching our varieties, how they perform, where they fit, to ensure that not only are you getting a high quality soybean seed, you're putting the right bean on the right acre.
And the soybeans we're standing in front of here today at the BASF exhibit, the new Citavo soybeans, what are you looking forward to about what we're looking at here today?
Well, what we're really excited about, and it's drawn us back to Farm Progress, the first time we've been here in the past 14 years as an exhibitor, is an entirely new breeding program that we're launching in the United States for soybean growers. Today, 98% of all the soybean genetics sold into the market comes out of 4 major breeding programs. So BASF will be the 5th, and that's important because you need genetic diversity to help push yields higher, to help diversify risk within growers' operations. So for our Citavo soybean brand in 2025, we have 12 new varieties that will be coming out for the first time ever out of our breeding program. And all the varieties, as you can see, are right here behind us, and they're looking great.
And Bryan, again, just to drive the point home, in an economic time like now where we see those soybean prices, those corn prices depressing, unfortunately, how important is it to get your year started right by having the exact right plant in the ground?
It's so paramount, right, Mark? You're probably getting a lot of questions from your audience on what am I going to do next year with lower commodity prices? How do I juggle? Where do I sharpen the pencil? And so ensuring that you have the best ROI is even more important in a weird way, right, when you think about years like this. So starting with the best bean approach on the right acre. We're here showcasing seed treatments because that's a key part to ensure you get the best emergence possible. We're in Iowa, palmer pigweed, water hemp's a problem. How do you make sure you manage that beast and then top it off on the best plant health package for disease control with brands like Revitec fungicide? These are areas where it can be easy to say, I need to reduce a little bit, but if you reduce the wrong variable input, then you double it up by really dropping yields. And that's what we're trying to help growers through with this upcoming season.
And is there any better example of how far genetics and traits in general have come than just looking at the difference between last year in the state of Iowa where we were dealing with not extreme drought, but drought and widespread drought. Here this year, it flips the other way. The faucet turns on and we still see our soybeans, our corn thriving.
Oh, man, it's so true. And that's something that's out of our control, Mother Nature, right? Now, what's in our control is we know our farms. We know our soil types. And so part of what we've been doing here with these tests is looking at the background of these soybean varieties. Some put on yield better in tougher, drier conditions. Others like the wetter conditions, where you can be more prolific. You think about it like corn, an offensive versus a defensive hybrid in corn. Soybeans are the same way, but people don't always treat them that way. It's give me the best bean and see what it can do. So we've really taken a lot of time to ensure that the growers can put the right bean on the right acre, so when those environmental conditions fluctuate, they don't really get hit hard and have the negative yield impact.
Bryan, is there anything else you'd like to let our viewers, our listeners here in the state of Iowa know about what you're working on or just anything you're excited about?
Yeah, I appreciate that, Mark. I mean, first and foremost, I like growers to know that BASF invests about 11% of every dollar back into basic R&D. So anytime they buy a BASF product, it's going back to help their future, their sustainability, and their operation. We have a big research farm right in Nevada, Iowa. We do trait research there. We do our germplasm and soybean breeding work there, and we do our crop protection work there. So the things we're showcasing right behind us now, all were worked on right in Nevada. And so that local focus really pays dividends. And then lastly, we talked about it 2 years ago at Farm Progress. It's still a few years out, but we also are innovating a new novel soybean cyst nematode trait named Nemasphere. That will be coming to market in 2028. So while that seems like a really long ways away, it'll be here before we know it. And soybean cyst nematode is the #1 yield robbing pest in soybeans, taking a lot of bushels out of Iowa farmers' pockets. So I'd like them to know that BASF is committed to bringing new innovations in seed treatment, and crop protection to help them make the most yield possible.
And just, sorry, one more interjection, but we are very limited in our tools of SE to deal with SEN, so any other tool we get in the toolbox is going to go a very long way.
It's a huge need, and what we're also seeing when you look forward, the current tools are breaking down. So resistance to weeds is no different than what we see with pests, and nematode's a big one. So whether it's the PI 88, 7088, or the peaking line of current nematode options, they're not performing like they used to. So BASF will be bringing a new GM trait. In addition, we're also looking at new native traits and then continuing to focus on solutions like Alevo, where you have really strong seed treatment opportunities as well.
Once again, I'm here with Bryan Perry at BASF. Bryan, thanks so much for taking the time to speak with me today. I appreciate it, and have a great rest of the Farm Progress Show.
Thank you very much, Mark.